this here is going in to the curses as well. But it's another description. This is Romans 8, chapter 36. Romans chapter 8, verse 36. As it is written, for thy sake we are killed all the day long. We are counted as sheep for the slaughter. Okay? You have a thing called Black Lives Matter. I mean, not only that, you have so-called black people killing other black people. You know, you have health epidemics like diabetes, cancer, things like that. You have, in Mexico, you have the drug wars going on, the cartels inside of Venezuela. You have the shit that's going on in Venezuela. You know, you basically got like Jacob's trouble. You got like martial law popping off out there. You have the famine going on out there, mass riots and things going on out there. They're slowly trying to implement full-blown martial law out there, basically, you know. Especially with the new thing going on out there where they staged the helicopter pilot going over there throwing grenades out onto the courthouse building. You know, they're just pushing for a full-blown martial law out there, you know. On another way, we're killed all the day long. Abortions. I believe there's a website called usabortionrate.org. If you brothers could Google search that, I mean, it's a clock that basically shows you how many babies are being aborted every day, every second, every minute, every hour, since the beginning of the year, since the beginning of when abortions was legal. And it's just an outstanding rate. It's just huge. You know, I wish my bank account was rolling up half the speed that that's rolling up. If my bank account was rolling up like that, man, we'd be straight. But that's, you know, that's a phenomenal looking clock to just look at how fast that number is going up, you know. That's crazy. We're being killed all the day long. Like, that's like the number one thing that's killing us right now is abortions. You know, that, believe it or not, people don't really get into that much, but that's a outstanding number. It's just growing rapidly, you know. There's more babies being aborted than some nations having their whole population, you know. There's more babies being aborted than some nations have is their whole population. Okay. This is going to be the last one right here for this lesson. This is Deuteronomy chapter 2, verse 7. For the Lord thy God has blessed thee in all thy works and all. Hold on, let me read that again. For the Lord thy God has blessed thee in all the works of thy hands. He knoweth thy walking through this great wilderness these 40 years, and the Lord thy God has been with thee. Thou hast lacked nothing. Okay? This was talking about when they was back in Egypt, you know. But, you know, it's a little deeper than that. For the Lord has blessed thee in all thy works of thy hands. Like I was just talking about it at work, you know. The way I do my job, the way I do it at work isn't because of anything that I have. It's not because of my knowledge or anything like that. Because like I said, I don't even come from a background that even be knowing anything like that, you know. But it's because of the Most High has blessed my hands to be able to do all the things that I do at my job and to make such an impact that I do at my job, you know, bringing the company where it needs to be, you know. He's blessed. It says, for the Lord thy God has blessed thee in all thy works of thy hand. He knoweth thy walking through the great wilderness these 40 years. Thy God has been with thee. Thou hast lacked nothing. And so, when you out in the wilderness, you know, this is actually speaking about them being in the wilderness, but at the same time, you could account us as being inside the wilderness now. We hadn't quite made it into our promised land, into the kingdom yet. So we're still out there, and we're how do you say, we're trying to make it, you know. But the Lord is watching over us in this time, although things may seem like things are kind of rough. But it says here that thou hast lacked nothing, you know. So, like, Great example. There's another scripture about this as well. Like, you work, but your pockets is like they got holes in them and stuff like that, man. Try to work. When I work, man, I think like, man, I should have a whole lot of money. But then at the end of the day, and I always have just enough to get by. The Most High is just making sure that I ain't lacking nothing. Though. And as I look back at my life, I really have never lacked anything. Not saying nothing financially. Yeah, I mean, me like all the other brothers, we've all probably been homeless, starving, hungry, things like this and that. But as I look back now, I mean, I'm perfectly fine. I got this knowledge, truth, and understanding. It might have been a bad day here or there, a bad day, things going on for a temporary sense. But at the end of the day, the Most High said you lack nothing. Throughout all of this, I mean, you might not have had the best job. You might not have been getting paid the most at your job, but wasn't all your bills paid? You might have worked a whole lot, but didn't I give you a couple of days off so you could, get into the scriptures? You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I look at it like, man, the Most High's got, I'm working all the time and this and that. Most High's like, but don't I keep you out of trouble? Don't I keep you from being in all this folly? If you didn't work so much, you'd probably be out there doing all kind of other stuff. I give you just enough work to keep you just tired enough so you come home, do your scriptures, do what you got to do spiritually, and you go to bed and you get back up, you do the same thing over and over again. So at the end of the day, you're not really lacking nothing. Now, that's not saying that we're going to have everything that we want. No, you might not have what you want. You might not be driving the car that you want to drive. But the Most High is providing you with transportation. You might not have a car at all, but the Most High provides you with somebody to give you a ride somewhere. You may not have a job or be getting your bills paid, but the Most High puts somebody in your position, that'll take care of you in certain scenarios, The Most High said, even though you're in the wilderness, you're not stable, you're not comfortable where you need to be at, you lack nothing, He took care of you and everything in all your situations. So, these are depictions of the descriptions of the children of Israel. When you go down through all these things, you look at all the other nations and you try to add these up, then you'll realize, these are the children of Israel, And this video is going to go on part with another video I made previously about the depiction of the children of Israel, and there's going to be a couple more videos to follow up behind this video. We're going to get into the curses. We're going to get into how Israel is around their families and stuff. And at the end of it all, you go through a checklist, and you try to pair this with the Moabites, or so-called Chinese, so-called Japanese, anybody. And these people do not fit these descriptions. This is only the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. Only the children of Israel, the real children of Israel, fit these descriptions. The Most High could have just been like, okay, well, black people are the children of Israel, but then people would be trying to change this up, change that up, change everything up to make it fit. Whereas the way he did it was, he didn't necessarily call you straight out like that. He gave you all the depictions, you fit the description. That's basically it. Like, well, who fits this description? There's only a certain group of people, and they're all the children of Israel that fit this description, So Lord willing that we can get into more of these lessons and further breakdowns, and they be edifying, and hopefully wake up some of the elect, because again, this is how all of us got into it. Somebody broke down these scriptures to us, and we learned, and like the Most High said in the scriptures, it says, my sheep will hear my voice, and so, this is why the brothers are out there pushing these videos. I was trying to wake up the elect, and sometimes you gotta, I know that at this point in time might be a little late for people to be trying to figure out who Jacob and Esau is, but at the same time, it might be a brother who might not know about any of this stuff, and they got to learn. You got to start with the milk before you give them the meat, and in due time that'll all come out, and it's the plan of the Most High. This is what the Most High has planned, and it's not of our own dealing, So again, hopefully this video was edifying. I want to say double honors. Well, I want to say all praises to the Most High and His Son Yahweh Shai. Call halal Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone that ruled well and taught me this truth, whether they taught me directly or indirectly, And also I want to give much love and salutations to you brothers that's pushing this truth and sincerity on the four corners of the earth. Because again, this is where I got this truth from, If it wasn't from the apostles at Great Millstone, they were teaching. They may have taught another brother, maybe I seen a video that the apostles was teaching on, you know, and I learned something from them, or, you know, maybe I didn't see the video that they taught on, but another brother saw that video and then they did a lesson on it, you know. And so this is why, you know, we're being commanded to do this, you know, because you're not going to see all the brethren, all their videos all the time. You might not even know all the, you know, the videos are out. Like I know that I'm more than sure I don't know of all the camps that, you know, that are out there right now in GMS, but, you know, we're all one body, one spirit, you know. So we all teaching the same thing at the same time, feeding the elect, trying to wake us all up, you know. This is why it's important to do the works of the Most High, you know, trying to wake everybody, trying to wake up the elect. All right. Hopefully this video was edifying again. I want to say shalom.